Wahamatakiape, Ampetukinle Shantewashte. I'm State Senator Mary Kunesh. I'm a descendant of the Standing Rock Nation, State Senator here in Minnesota, and I'm really excited to be carrying Senate File 1247, which is basically the Wild Rice Protection Bill. So wild rice, monomen, or pasine as we call it, is one of the Midwest's most sacred plants. We know that pesticide and pollution, the extreme weather that has been caused by climate change, is really wreaking havoc on our wild rice crops. Thank you all for being here, for being a part of this, for standing up for the wild rice, and for taking a voice to protect the monomen in any way that we can. For centuries, the Dakota and the Ojibwe people were nurtured, and they relied on the plentiful grain to sustain them through the season. Now Minnesota has more wild rice than any other state in the country. I want to say natural wild rice, than any other country, and it can be found in more than 2,000 of our lakes and rivers. But we know that that abundance is ever changing, and a big result is because of the pesticides and the lack of caring for our waterways. We know that our monomen is facing threats, and one of those not only is the climate change, and so I think it's absolutely important, it's vital that we do all that we can to support the resilience and the growth across our ecosystem. The environmental impacts, coupled with the centuries of colonization land use, has disrupted the important monomen habits. Minnesota's landscape has been radically changed, and we've drained the wetlands through ditching tile drains, we've dammed other areas, we've transformed wetlands into agriculture lands, we've deforested, and there are tons of environmental changes that affect the wild rice because of those things that we have done. Not all, thank you. Our non-native members. So how are we going to protect the wild rice? Thank you to so many of the conservation organizations that have been fighting for years and years, for the elders that have stood up and demanded that we protect the wild rice and the environment, not just the wild rice, but the entire environmental efforts. And thank you for Rise and Repair for having this rally here today, bringing so many people, so many faces that I recognize, so many new people that I have not seen before. It really warms my heart, and I'm glad I skipped out of my committee for a minute to do this. So this is one of my top priorities, and I know it's one of the top priorities of the DFL to protect the wild rice. The bill that I am carrying, Senate File 1247, does some of those things around pesticide control, about accurately mapping the lakes and the waterways that hold this precious grain, around the pesticide considerations, how those pesticides are applied and when they are applied, looking for making sure that the risk justification is being done prior to any of these actions that might harm our wild rice, and then also looking for the watercrafts. We know that when the boats whip through there, or the pontoon boats go through, that those also have a very negative effect on the wild rice. And we want to look at making sure that we are treating those spaces, we are treating the people that are protecting the wild rice, living with the wild rice, that they have those kind of protections from watercrafts. And so it is absolutely vital that we continue this work. I so appreciate all of you here today, making sure that we have our voices heard, that the message gets out to our legislators, and just remembering that Monoman or Pasan is our relative. It's our state grain. It is the grain. It's the reason that our Anishinaabe brothers and sisters came to these lands. And so as long as I am able to, I will work to protect the wild rice in Minnesota. And I'm so thankful to have all of you as partners. Wopila Tonka and Chimigwich.